One thing most people know about Christians is that on a Sunday morning we're all in church. This is just common knowledge. But why are we in church on a Sunday morning? When the religion of the Old Testament, the Jewish religion from which Christianity came, for them the holy day was a Saturday, the Sabbath. Why did Christians switch the holy day to Sunday? The easiest and quickest answer that would cut a lot of time is that Jesus rose from the dead on a Sunday morning, so we worship him on a Sunday morning. It's in the Bible, you can look it up and you can kind of stop the video there. But there's a lot of symbolism and extra interesting things that might be worth catching up on, and we're going to do that. Why did we switch from the last day of the week to the first day of the week? The idea of the week beginning on Monday has only been a thing in a lot of countries since the 50s. And in many countries still, Sunday is considered the first day of the week. It's that we're beginning our week in church. It's not ending the week, it is the start, it is a dawn. And so to add to that, a lot of Christians do get confused when they read the Old Testament, the New Testament, and they think that Sunday is the Sabbath day. It's not. Sabbath is Saturday, and in a lot of cultures today, the word for Saturday is derived from the word Sabbath. So yeah, because this is the New Testament, this is the resurrection, we begin a new week within the New Testament. It's almost a resurrection in and of itself. The first day, a new dawn, a new week, resurrection. Makes sense. In the book of Acts, the Christians are still observing the Sabbath day. They are also meeting for communion on the first day, on the Sunday, which is the Lord's Day. Less than a century after the book of Acts, the Bishop Ignatius of Antioch writes in a letter that Christians order their lives by the Sunday, not the Sabbath anymore, because it is on this day that life dawned for us all. So in the very first century, it's very clear that Sunday has become the main day for Christians. In the 4th century, when Christianity becomes legal across the Roman Empire, the emperor quickly turns Sunday into the day of rest, the official day of rest for the empire, the weekly holiday. That is reflected in languages still where the word for Sunday is referred to as rest day. And here's a fun bit of symbolism that I like, is it's not just that we're celebrating on the beginning of the first day of the week. The early church came up with a symbolism of the 8th day, Sunday being the 8th day of a 7-day week. Confusing symbolism, but beautiful, because what it's saying is that Sunday is a day beyond days, a time beyond times, a day beyond the age. It's something representative of eternity, that when we worship on a Sunday, we gather for eternity. The number 8 became symbolic for eternity. And it's really intriguing that it did that before, long before we adopted the Arabic symbol for 8, which is the only number that looks like eternity. Early baptismal fonts in the church always had 8 sides to symbolize eternity. In the Orthodox Church today, the baby's name tends to be announced on the 8th day after their birth. And in the Orthodox Church, we celebrate Easter for 8 days, and we consider them almost as one continuous event. It's a representation of eternity, of heaven, of paradise, which is what is the meaning of Sunday. That's another cool thing to remember, is that when you're going to church on a Sunday morning, you're not just going on the first day of the week, which is something that might change your perspective a bit about why you're waking up on a Sunday, but you're going on the 8th day of the week. You're going on a day beyond time. It's cool. The Sabbath day never disappeared. We didn't erase it and take Sunday. Sunday just took precedence because it was the resurrection day. The Saturday remained within the Christian culture. When you go to, for instance, the Orthodox Church, you'll find that the Saturday has remained the Sabbath. Because it is the day of rest, because it is the day that the Lord rested in the tomb, we still treat it as a day to remember those who have gone to their rest. It tends to be a day to remember the departed, those who have gone to their rest, those who have gone to Christ. So the Sabbath day has retained its position in the church. It's never gone anywhere. Christianity didn't and doesn't claim to replace the religion that came before it. It claims to be the continuation and the fulfillment of it. As to why you should go to a church on a Sunday, it's worth noting that while in today's world it's not a big deal to miss church, in the early church it was seen as a very big deal to miss church. It's also worth knowing that Jesus went to the synagogue every week. The early Christians in the book of Acts, they worshiped together every week. There's no reason why we should stop. There is a popular phrase in Christianity that going to church doesn't make you a Christian, and this is true. And it's a worthwhile phrase to remember, that being a Christian is more than just observing something. But there is a kind of spin that sometimes takes on people, is that I don't need to go to church to be a Christian, or I'm a Christian, I don't need to go to church, which isn't quite true. Christianity isn't a religion of just one person and God. It is a religion of the church. It is a religion of the body of Christ. The Christians in the book of Acts, they were together as a community. It's important to know that Jesus said we are to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. He said these were the two greatest commandments, and going to church on a Sunday is a point where we can do that all at once. Because if we're loving the Lord our God with all our heart, our soul, and our mind, then we want to go to a place where we can focus entirely on Him. We go to a place that is set aside to worship Him at a time that is set aside of a week to worship Him and to be there to love Him. It's also worth noting that to love our neighbor as ourselves is to pray for him, to pray with him, to pray alongside him, which is something we do as a community in church on a Sunday morning. Not just the community that you're familiar with, not just that the one church you're going to, but a church that stretches back 2,000 years, a church in heaven, a church that goes around the world, because we're gathering around the world every Sunday everywhere. It's important to know that you're not obliged to go to church on a Sunday morning. You're not being forced to do it. It isn't a box you have to tick that makes you Christian. You're not forced to do it any more than you'd be forced to visit a friend's birthday party or visit your grandmother for tea or something like that. It is an act of love and an act of connection with God and with the church. It's also worth knowing that going to church isn't about you. Even though we do gain spiritually and intellectually from going to church and hearing a good sermon, it's true that we do gain from it, but that's not the reason we go. Church is not about you. It is about God. It is about worshiping God. If you're going to try and gain something from it, you might not be doing this the right way. It is about giving worship to God, about partaking in God. Sunday service is a participatory event. It's something you are a part of. And I think it's worth doing that every Sunday. And again, if Jesus went every Saturday on the Sabbath, then surely we can go every Sunday. If the early church regularly went once a week into a gathering place to pray to God at a time when they were being killed for it, and sometimes we're not necessarily in the mood. You don't necessarily wake up on a Sunday morning full of effervescence and beans to try and get up and go to church and worship God. You're not necessarily feeling great. You wake up tired. But again, it's not about us. It is about God. And sometimes that bit of effort is necessary. And I'm not going to promise you that you're going to suddenly feel better or that you're going to get to church or finish church and think, oh, it's a good thing I came. But whether or not you feel it, it is a good thing you came. And I'm sure God is excited every time He sees you at church on a Sunday morning. Yeah, if you're wondering about the tea again, it's just black tea with a bit of honey, and my mum made this mug that's got penguins on it because they're my favorite animal. Cheers, till next time.